spend the night here tonight. The old Tim Hortons. It's a pretty good spot. Might even go in and get a coffee just to pay my rent, pay my dues, my lot fees. All right, let's go. What's up, buddy? I'm gonna get a medium coffee, 3 milk, half sugar. I'll get a Canadian maple with that, please. And then, right on. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Oh yeah. Hepatitis A. Yum. You've always got time for Tim Hortons. I shouldn't say that shit on here. It's just a joke. It's just a joke, man. Always got time for Tim Hortons. Hey, what up? Jerky Jones here. What up, everyone? Woo! Long time no see. It's been a minute. So today's video, I want to talk about Tim Hortons and how great of a place it is to spend the night. Yes, free camping. Well, it's not totally free. You should buy a coffee or a donut or something, you know. Don't be a total scab. But it is a good place to spend the night, mainly because they got good Wi-Fi. It's all about the Wi-Fi. You know, I find that lots of Tim Hortons, they have, you know, their Wi-Fi hits the whole parking lot. So, you know, you can park there, pull out your little camper bed, close the curtains, lay back for a couple hours before you crash and watch some YouTube unimpeded. You know, it's pretty nice. And I've been doing that for almost 2 years. So Tim Hortons is my main, probably I would say 60 to 70% of the spots I've slept in the van in the last 2.5 years have been at Tim Hortons. Now, you're probably wondering, do you not get kicked out? Well, here's two kickers, two things. One is I usually only stay 1 or 2 nights and then I move to another Tim Hortons. Because, you know, every city in Canada's got like, you know, 50 Tim Hortons stores or restaurants in them. So it's pretty easy to bounce around and go unnoticed. And the other good thing is, if you haven't noticed, every Tim Hortons, it's just all people from India and people from Philippines and people that barely speak English. So most of them, I find, don't even give a shit. They don't notice. They don't care. Their shift is done. They are gone. They are not worried about what vehicle is in their parking lot. You know, most of the owners are rich corporations. They're gone. They have, yeah. I have never been bothered at a Tim Hortons to move. That is not true. Like twice I have. But one time it was in a giant parking lot that said no overnight camping and a security guard came. And it was in kind of a trendy, rich neighborhood. And the other time was when I first started living in my van. And I stayed at one like 5 nights in a row. And then this lady came up. She's like, sorry, sir, can you just not park here during the day all day and sleep here? And you could come at night when we close. And I was like, no, I said, it's okay. I'm sorry. I said, I know I've been staying here too much. My bad. That was my lesson learned. So after that, I, you know, started hitting up different spots. But anyways, it's great because, like I'm saying, you know, you got Wi-Fi. No one really bothers you. It's super busy. There's a million of them. You know, yeah, it's just whatever. I find it's a great spot. And also you can go in. I take my laptop in there. I usually buy a coffee every time I go in. Take my laptop, charge it, charge my Jerky. They got plug outlets, USB outlets. Sometimes you can sit at a booth. They got 2 plug outlets and 2 USB outlets. So you charge your phone, Jerky, laptop, camera, all in one shot. all for the price of a cup of coffee, or the same price as a monthly donation to feed a kid in Africa. So the choice is yours. You know, wherever your heart lies, that's what you can do. You've always got time for Tim Hortons. I'm just playing, they're just jokes. So anyways, just to wrap this up, I'm sure someone out there is gonna be like, oh, it's private land, private property, you shouldn't park there, you shouldn't freeload. You know what? You know what I say to that? I say, I park wherever the hell I want. And if someone doesn't like it, they can come talk to me, and then I'll gladly move on. But yeah, just thought I would make this little video. Tim Hortons, great spot, #1 spot if you're in a van. You know, if your vehicle's like super huge and obnoxious, like mine is just on the cusp of that. You know, if you got like a gigantic RV, yeah, the parking lots are kind of tight here, so it might not work out so well. But if you got, you know, just a regular camper van or a little Sprinter, or you're living in the back of your vehicle or whatevs, think about Tim Hortons. A great spot, great Wi-Fi. A few other places, just to throw it out there, I find I never park at Walmart because I find they don't have Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi doesn't reach out the parking lot. And also I've been seeing signs lately like that Walmart doesn't like people camping there and stuff. I don't know whether that's true or not, because there's a Walmart here in Edmonton, and I always see campers and vans and stuff there, but they're kind of on the outskirt part of the parking lot, and not right out front, you know. Another good place to park for free Wi-Fi is gyms, near gyms, because they're 24-hour, and a lot of times like Planet Fitness, Fit for Less, I find some of them, not all, but some of them have good Wi-Fi that reach quite far out from the building. And, you know, for all they know, you're there working out at 2 in the morning. So gyms are really good places to park and camp overnight. I'm talking about in the city here as well, folks, in the city. I'm trying to think where else. McDonald's, not so much. I find their Wi-Fi doesn't reach outside of the building very well, and they're kind of, you know, they're not always great. They don't want people freeloading there. Trying to think where else. Like, there's just a ton of places. Canadian Tire, sometimes their Wi-Fi reaches out. Starbucks is really good, but I find Starbucks, their Wi-Fi reaches over the whole parking lot, but usually when the store closes, they have this thing where the Wi-Fi shuts down as well. So that can be annoying. Unless you're going to bed early. If you're gonna fall asleep by like 9 or 10, then it's fine. You won't miss anything. But if you want to stay up late and mess around on the internet, then yeah, Starbucks not the greatest. Where else do they say? Usually, yeah, when I'm in the city, man, I just park wherever I want. I just cruise around until I find a good Wi-Fi signal. Sometimes bars have really good Wi-Fi signals, like, you know, Brew House and Ricky's All Day Grill and places like that. Oh, I will say one spot that is not that great, although they do have great Wi-Fi, but you will get security knocking on you, is hotels and motels. Like you could, like and sometimes you need like a room number and name to get access, but not all the time to access the Wi-Fi. But yeah, I've stayed in a few hotel parking lots where I cruise by and I'm like, oh, they got good Wi-Fi there, and I parked, and it would be the middle of the night and security would come and kick me out. And then there's a truck stop. I'm not gonna say where it is, south of Edmonton. And it has like a bar with a VLT and a vape store and a couple shawarma shops and a Subway and stuff. And there's a couple parking spots near there that have really strong Wi-Fi, and there's no firewall, there's no nothing. And I used to park there all the time, but because it's a truck stop, and it was actually next to a giant hotel, so the parking lot would be packed all the time. No one ever bothered me. I stayed there for months and months. Not every day, but sometimes 2 or 3 days in a row. Then I'd go somewhere else, and I'd come back, you know. And that was a really good spot. So yeah, basically when it comes to van life, when it comes to where you're gonna stay in the city, find a spot with Wi-Fi. Just just explore, stay wherever the hell you want, you know, whatever. If someone comes and knocks on you, tells you to move, then move on. Say, oh, sorry, I didn't know, I'm out of here, and then now, you know, cross that off the list. That's not a place you can stay. And eventually, the more you do it, the bigger the repertoire of places you will get, and the more spots you can stay at, and the wider range, you know, like, then you don't have to stay in the same spot multiple nights in a row. You can stay, you know, if you got 10 different spots, that's 10 different nights you can cruise around. They're only gonna see you 2-3 times a month. You're not gonna be bothering anyone, you know. But like I said, if you stay at Canadian Tire, buy a coffee, drink it, or a drink, or Timbits, or a donut, leave the bag in your window so it looks like you're a customer, you know. Like, there is some sort of ways you can kind of help yourself not get bothered, and make it fine. And be very nice and friendly to the people inside too. You know, it doesn't matter who. Like in Leduc, there's this Tim Hortons, and there's this Jamaican lady that is the supervisor at night. And I made like every time I go in there, I make her laugh. Like one time she's Jamaican, right? And I was like, hey, wagwan. And she's like, oh, she bursts out. She's like, how do you know that? And I was like, I lived in Toronto. I know a couple Jamaican words, blah, blah, blah. And another time I was in there, and she's like, do you want a bag with that? And I was like, nah, save a treat. She laughed, you know, try to be friends. And then her and this other lady that worked there, I remember I was sitting there and I was talking with one of them, and they were like, are you in the van? And I'm like, yeah, I am. They're like, oh, you're the van guy. And they're like, right on, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, they were cool with it. So they knew it was me. So like I said, I don't abuse it. I stay there a little bit, but yeah, you know, they know who I am. They know I'm not trouble. It's all good, whatever. They turn a blind eye. So anyways, folks, Jerky Jones, that's all I got to say about that. Just thought I'd make a quick little video. It's been a while. I've been in Grand Prairie working 12, 13, 14-hour days, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13 days in a row, just driving a big-ass hydrovac truck, trying to make some money, you know, and I have been too burnt out to even think about making YouTube videos. But this guy, one of my subscribers, Towhook, what up, buddy? Yes, I do want to hang out. I will message you. And then my other buddy, Mr. Condon, was like 3 weeks. And I had another friend, Brian, ask how I've been doing. So I appreciate everyone's concern. I've just been so busy. I am still alive, still kicking, still somewhat doing the van life thing. Just working my balls off, trying to make some money, trying to make it happen, you know. That's what I'm out here for, Alberta, baby. Get that money! So anyways, folks, doing good. I will try to make a few more videos. I got some ideas, like a couple camping videos, a Grand Prairie video, and just whatever else comes to my mind. I got things. I've just been too tired, burnt out to do them. So, but they're come. But anyways, I appreciate y'all sticking around. Appreciate your concern. Jerky Jones, thanks for watching. Wi-Fi. Hortons. Tim Hortons. Love yous. Thanks for watching. Peace out. Later. Peace.